Cosmic here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally get to talk about Fusion World, and yes, I will be going into a really quick overview, but the most exciting news is just this morning we found out we have open beta confirmed for next week, but it's 5 days only, so you need to make sure you sign up very fast and get ready for next week. Now, we will go into all the details, but if you missed the channel update video that I did, I want to give a really quick overview of what is Fusion World and kind of where I'm excited for and kind of what are my plans for it, because yes, it is digital, and spoiler, at least here in the state that I live in, Dragon Ball doesn't have that big of a scene, at least Masters doesn't, but Fusion World is a opportunity for hopefully people to get back into it, and again, with the digital client, I'm really excited because then I can stream it. I can always make sure that I can, play the game, which is important. So as I mentioned in a previous video, a lot of my time will be spent on the digital side instead of physical, like I'm going to do for other card games, but I am still excited all the same, and especially if you've been following this channel for a while. As I mentioned in a previous video, things like Light Seekers or Warhammer Age of Sigmar, I've really loved this idea of having both a fusion, spoiler, of physical and digital being a similar card game environment, bringing together and giving players a way to be more accessible, to be more approachable. So yes, I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan in the world. I've seen Cell and Frieza Saga, and that's about it. But I am excited for what this means from an accessibility standpoint. So yes, while I probably won't be buying too much physical product after set 1, assuming the digital client is robust and has things like a ladder and I can still craft cards, I will be excited and just keep this in my backlog at least until Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. But more on that later. So because this is, primarily not a Dragon Ball channel, you might be wondering like, hey, what is it? So let's just give a very quick rundown of kind of the cards, what to look forward to, and obviously the most important detail at the very end of this. So Dragon Ball Fusion World, yes, is a fusion between the physical and the digital client, and it is going to be effectively a soft reboot. So yes, Masters, which is basically Legacy to do the MTG comparison. We have Fusion World, which is standard, but the cards are not cross-compatible. However, Masters, again, the current version of Dragon Ball Super, will still be supported and will still be getting sets. So if you like the more super consistent, super strategic, like you have to sequence your cards perfectly and whoever does it most of the time is going to win sort of thing, yes, go play Masters. It's still a very good game. It's the closest thing to chess that you're going to get. But if you're like me and who don't want to learn that massive card pool and understand what all those different cards are, Fusion World's really cool because it's going to be new, it's fresh, it's very easy to get into, and again, the digital client is going to be a huge part of it. So we have the new artwork, which is going to be updated, the new template, and of course, the Bandai special of just having alt arts, and we haven't seen the super rares or secret rares at the time of recording this, so I will kind of go back over those at a later time, but the alt arts, we have at least seen one of them so far, and they are gorgeous in my opinion, and I really do like, if you look there in the bottom right corner, it does have that 1-star symbol, which is something that they did in Union Arena, where you have different alt arts and you have different levels of collectability in terms of how hard they are to get. So you have the 1-star, the 2-star, and the 3-star. So I'm assuming the secret rare alt art is going to be labeled as a 2-star, just because the way that the rarity system is going to work out. And we don't have anything like God rares yet or the triple star rarity as it is in Union Arena, but I'm sure that they're going to bring that at some point, or maybe it'll be reserved for the alt art leaders in set 2. Who knows? But overall, the couple of the important things that did change, this game is, at least as of right now, going to be labeled as best of 1. So there's, at least in the pre-release and celebration events, we are confirmed for best of 1. Of course, it's up to the stores, and if everyone agrees, I'm sure you could do best of 3. No one's really going to complain about it off the record, obviously. But there are things to look forward to in terms of what does this mean for a competitive high-level event, right? Hopefully, at the time of recording this, no details are confirmed, but I'm hoping that we at least get a best of 1 Swiss if they keep in that direction, because that would match the ladder or the digital experience best, right? Best of 1 would mirror itself very well to a ladder system where you are only getting that one match and you go on to your next opponent, but hopefully we can at least get best of 3 top 8. That said, Fusion World is going to be color locked based on your leader. So if you have a red leader, you can only play red cards. If you have in the future, hopefully, a red and blue leader, you can only play red and blue cards, right? It is very similar to One Piece in that regard. And honestly, it just makes sense from a new player perspective, especially if you're trying to get new players into the game, right? People who have not played the previous Dragon Ball, maybe they just came into it too late, but oh, I like Dragon Ball, I want to play the card game. It's just the easiest way to get people into the game, right? You make it very streamlined for them. You limit their deck building options. Yes, I'm a little bummed by it, but hopefully we do get dual color leaders in the future. So that's a very quick rundown of that. Again, I will be doing a little bit more videos in the future, probably, after Worlds at this point or after Bandai Card Fest with some other announcements, but I am still very excited and at least going to do some type of high level overview of the cards, and again, focusing mostly on digital personally. Right now, I really love green. I really am excited to see what those different cards are going to do for the once we get these super rares and secret rares, but at least for right now, I am leaning towards green. Now, we know about how awesome this serialized cards have been for One Piece. And spoiler, Bandai also recognizes that, and they're going to be doing it for Fusion World. So yes, the prize support is going to be these gorgeous serial cards once again. You can't tell because it's a flat image, understandably, but it is mostly going to be a gold back card to it. Now it's going to have like that gold stamping design as well. And of course, the serialized number, because, serialized cards are for that reason. So these are going to be more regional based. Again, at the time of the recording, we don't know exactly how it's going to work in terms of how many there's going to be, what if there's a world structure, things of that nature. Another video, another time. But in short, these usually do sell for a couple $1,000s in One Piece, and I assume it would be the same here in Dragon Ball Super Fusion World. So look for that. Obviously, no cash prizing because it is a licensed game, but there will likely be other like top 8, top 16 promos, like whatever that looks like, that will be worth some money as well. And again, I'm going to hope, while nothing is confirmed yet, there will be some type of digital support or digital tournament support like we've seen in previous games. Like, Shadowverse does a great job of this with their arenas. Magic the Gathering Arena also has their in-game client support. So fingers crossed, Bandai, please make sure we get something like that for Fusion World for the digital client, which is going to be really important. So I think this is going to look great. It's going to be super cool to see in person. But obviously, with all of this, I'm really excited for is the digital code cards. Yes, we are getting Pokemon-like code cards in Dragon Ball Super Fusion World. So once again, this is kind of a reward, as it were, for buying that physical product at your store, because you are going to get 1 code per pack, which means hopefully there's not going to be a limit on these like there is in Magic Arena for like their sealed pre-release or whatever it is that they do again. And you can just scan all these in like you could do for PTCG or Pokemon Go on or Pokemon Online, right? So you get the pack, you get a pack hopefully in the game. We don't know exactly what type of reward it is going to be yet, but likely it's going to be a pack design as well. So this is huge, again, because it does mirror that, go support your local, buy the physical product, and then get to turn it into digital cards in the client. Huge win. Absolutely love this. As long as it's done well, I think this is going to be an absolute slam dunk for the game. And again, does give you a reason to at least buy, even just a booster box, right? Because then you are getting additional packs, which can help you build that deck online. Now, all that out of the way, yes, we did get the finally open beta news for the game itself. So just this morning, we got 2 different updates to look forward to in terms of, well, when can we expect it? What's it going to look like? And all that good stuff. So quickly, just going over the website, the information, and I'll leave links to this in the pinned comments. You can go click on these yourself. But a couple of things I want to highlight very quickly is, yes, this is going to have cards from the starter decks and the booster pack set. So this is a really interesting choice because we know that there is going to be starter deck only tournament at Bandai Card Fest, and the winner gets like a playmat, energy mark, and all that stuff, what have you. But it does look like they want to actually test some of the main set cards as well. So it's interesting. You're going to give players this like incentive to be like, hey, only test the starter cards because that's what a tournament is coming up to at Bandai Card Fest. But also we want to make sure that people are, testing the cards in the main set so nothing breaks, right? Because there are going to be various on-play effects or interaction cards. They'll say like on play, shrink something by 10K and kill it, or whatever it might be, right? So you want to make sure that in a digital environment, you're testing all those different various outcomes. So it does make sense for the booster pack to be included as well. However, I wonder how much people are really going to be testing that as well, knowing that hopefully a lot of them will be also at Bandai Card Fest getting ready for the tournament itself. Now, again, this is not obviously everyone outside of the United States is going to be able to participate in the Bandai Card Fest Los Angeles. So for them, obviously it makes sense to also have the booster pack, but let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm really excited for this because I will be focusing mostly on the digital side. Now, when is it going to be? January 23rd to January 28th. That is only 5 days. That is a very short beta period. I get that this is leading up to Bandai Card Fest and they're kind of lining up all around all of that, but 5 days is not a long enough time. Now, again, this is just for testing purposes. The goal of this is to make sure people try to break the game. Again, issues such as game freezing or crashing may occur. I really want to stress that I know a lot of us are excited about the game, just getting to finally see what the updated client looks like, because this will be the first look at the Fusion World proper client. So that's really exciting itself. But again, please go try to break this thing. That is the most important thing that you can do because we want to have a smooth launch. So definitely consider that when you're getting ready to, play. Don't just focus on maybe the starter deck tournament. Go test out all the cards. Make sure you try everything that you have time for because that is the goal of betas. You need to break it. We need to try and break it so that the launch and when everybody gets to play is as smooth as possible. So it is important that there is going to be supported languages, Japanese and English. Of course, it is getting a Japan release. That's kind of the whole big thing about Fusion World is that Dragon Ball will finally be in Japan. But for supported regions, I'm just going to click on this quickly, scan through this so that people can see if their region is supported. Just go through the list really quick. Obviously, it would be impossible for them to include everything here, so we are having a finite list, but that is a quick overview of that. US and Canada, shout out to Aspira, who's been leading the charge on content right now. We're obviously both really excited for this. And then, of course, just some notes here about the has to be on PC. So no mobile yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I know they are getting a lot of feedback about wanting a mobile, client. Like, I want to be able to play this on the go. It would just make sense. And then how easy would it be to scan in code cards if you could just use your phone to scan in the text thing? And I know I'm asking for a lot here, but I really hope that we will get it sometime in the first year, or maybe there's going to be an announcement at Bandai Card Fest at the end of the month. That would be super sick. So we have the date, right? We have the date. We know what type of products to expect. It is going to be the starter decks and the booster pack. And then, of course, there is also a campaign going on. So like your typical leading up to a gacha release, there is going to be hey, we'll pay you to interact with our posts so more people are aware about it. So yes, there is going to be a pre-campaign going on right now from the time that this video is live, January 15th, today, until that official release, which is going to be next week. So long story short, you will need to link your Bandai Namco ID. I'm going to click on this, or you would need to click on this, make sure you're logged in, all that good stuff. I'm not going to do it now because it's going to kick me to the other site, but the important part here is this at the end. So how many gems are we going to get? So one, that did confirm that we are going to have a premium currency. Shocker, everyone expected that. I know there was some debate on what the premium currency is going to be called, but shocker, we're just going to go with the generic gems name. The one that really tripped me up though is the 318. Is there going to be some type of one-time bonus for 18 gems, right? These are always broken up into 50s or hundreds in terms of what you're buying or what the interaction is going to be. So this being 18 really trips me up. There's got to be your first pack is 18 gems or something. That's just silly. However, what really caught me off guard is going by the total number of reactions. Now, if this was a mobile gacha game, absolutely, sure, 50,000. That would be fine. However, this is just going to be a random post. You're going to see it here. We are at, what is that? Doing this live, 400, let's just say 400 interactions, right? So yes, it is just opening, but we have a long way to go before 5,000 reacts total. So I am going to be super shocked. Yes, I'm recording this super early, right at the start of the campaign, all that good stuff. But I would be shocked if we get 50,000 reactions on this. But that is just something that we can plan for and kind of look forward to, as it were. Now, the one thing I do want to mention, and I guess I will click through this really quickly, hopefully this doesn't blank out the screen too much, is that there is a login that you're going to be wanting to look for. So I'm going to just pull this to the other screen really quick and then pull it back. There it goes. So once you link everything, once you click that login and you're all set, this is what you're going to be looking for here on the right-hand side. So the members menu, that means you've logged in. Obviously, the application download is not live yet. It's going to go live next week. So definitely keep that in mind. And then otherwise, you'll have the user information settings. You'll have the withdrawal from service or log out. So as long as you signed in, as long as you can see this, you are totally fine. And then otherwise, go click on that post. Retweet it, like it, do whatever you want. We want some free gems, right? We want some free packs, and maybe there'll be some type of card sleeve cosmetics and all that good stuff, but who knows what that officially looks like. Again, we will be doing another video next week with the digital client, which I'm very excited for. But again, the other kind of big news or big announcement is that this means I will try to stream once a week. I'm obviously going to be still very focused on Battle Spirits and doing those kind of IRL versus videos and stuff like that. Obviously, our set launch is right after Fusion World as well. So the timing is going to be a little rough, but at least for me, all of my Fusion World content will be more focused on the digital side. So it makes sense to just stream at least once a day and get ready for, again, for me personally, I'm very excited for Shadow versus World Beyond. So again, kind of a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm not exactly sure how popular this is going to be in my specific state, but I am still very excited for the digital side. So while I might not be buying a ton of physical product beyond set 1, like, again, I'm going to get a ton of code cards, and hopefully those can still be kind of rolled into, set 2 and set 3 if there's like a dusting system or something. But at least for, we're not going to do the webcam battles for Fusion World. It's all going to be on the digital side, and hopefully, I can at least get something going where locals, we have our pre-release, we have our celebration event signed up, but my store said, just with how packed this year is, and I've already talked about this in a ton of other videos, but long story short, there's too many games coming out this year, so please talk to your LGS, host demo days if you can, if you want to support a game, but for me, it is just going to be like a set 1 and really see how things go for locals, but I know there's a lot of hype for Star Wars Unlimited because there's a lot of Flesh and Blood players, which Magic and Flash and Blood are like the 2 big games at the store, so a lot of them are more excited for Shadow or Star Wars Unlimited, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of more of like what you would expect for an IP jump compared to, say, Magic to Dragon Ball. So we'll see. But hey, I am super excited for this news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you were going to be jumping in with the digital client, or are you more a fan of like, hey, digital is cool and whatnot, but I am a physical card gamer and I want to be in store playing with my friends. But definitely let me know which one you are leaning for. And with that, again, there will be more Fusion World content on the channel. It is just going to be extremely limited between one more video next week for the beta, and we're going to definitely cover that a little bit more. But then we got to wait until the actual launch, so it's going to be like a month after that until the next Fusion World video, but we will try to support as we can. So with that, my friends, happy start of the week. Really love that we got some exciting news, and make sure to subscribe for future Fusion World content when we can get around to it. So with that, stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.